All right, class. So in the last video, we covered the position of the ruler, of the overall ruler, and also talked about a little bit of Cusco. But what about the this rapidly growing empire outside of Cusco? Um, so staying sort of within tight with that in that ruling class, every Saba Inca owns country property and estates, and they provide wealth back towards Inca and his kin in life and death. Private retreats, ritually significant places. Pachacuti had three famous ones, one of which you've heard of, Machu Picchu, Pisac, and Ollantaytambo, or other ones. So I think it's kind of interesting that that Machu Picchu is really like a provincial estate, seasonal estate, as magnificent as it is. You'd think it'd be like the center of something. Some of these other kind of more provincial area estates. Machu Picchu is in the Urubamba Valley, a range of activities. There's residential structures, agricultural terraces, fountains, and this Intihuatana, which has sometimes been interpreted as a sundial or something calendrical. And it's an example of carved bedrock. I think I have some pictures here. So this is shots of Machu Picchu here, and internal architectural complexity is really, really cool. This thing is just magical. I've got to get there. And here you see what was it called, the Intihuatana, and it's carved right out of bedrock. Huaynaco is an example of these provincial administrative centers that the Inca are setting up. It's a way to kind of reiterate or be an iteration of the capital. So they even were called New Cuscos. So they have a giant plaza, sometimes with an ushnu in the center. So an ushnu can kind of look like maybe a step pyramid without the final bits on it. Sometimes it's more of a regular building looking thing. So they would hold audiences and sort of echo whatever I'm sure Cusco wanted them to say. These administrative centers had storehouses, and then these houses called Achlawasi, and I'll go into that down the line a little bit. House of the Chosen Women. So there's Huaynaco with the ushnu in the middle. So demographic, one of the neat things about the Inca was that they recorded all this almost, they had census takers. So the provinces are organized in a decimal system, and you have nested groups of households, each with its local chief or lineage head, something like that. So they get counted 10, 50, 100, so on and so on. All of these are recorded on Khipu. So these are systems of knotted strings attached to a cord used to encode various types of information. And there were officials who were in charge of these knotted strings, and they're called Khipu Mayok. And that's what a Khipu can look like. And in a way, these are an undeciphered not writing system, but communicative system. So you could change the meaning by changing the color of the string, or by changing the type of knot that you use, or having a sequence of knots, or repeating knots and tightly or spread, or all these different ways to encode information using this system. And we know the numbers, as I understand it, and some other things, but not everything that was communicated. Some theorize that these could be sort of almost oratory reminders, and so they might have, myths and stories will, encode it. One of the more interesting things I've heard about in the decipherment of Khipu was they actually recently, last 5 years, found Khipu lying on the things they were meant to be recording. So stores of foodstuffs, if I recall correctly. And so people were really excited because, presumably the Khipu would have encoded the thing it was sitting on. So we'll see if anything comes of that down the road. So yeah, revenue, amount of stores, births and deaths, marriages, histories, ballads, poems, all on the Khipu, all waiting for one of you to decipher. Like any good thing, the Spanish burned them. So there are less than 1,000, and maybe 400 of those are from archaeological context. You're going to get maybe some of these preserved. You're probably never going to find a Maya codex in an archaeological context, but there's a dryness and the altitude help the preservation of these things. So most people say that these are a mnemonic device as opposed to some sort of alphabetic or even logographic system. White string signified silver, yellow string signified gold, red string soldiers. So very cool, very, very cool. Yeah, there you are. There are some of the things we figured out. Good, solid on the numbers. This, yeah. Oh, yeah. So no, they're just showing you the different types of knots that you can do. 1, 2, 3, 4. So cool. All right. And then on a chord. Yeah. All right. Another Khipu there. All right. That's the story of the Khipu. I'll see you in the next video.